Hey everyone, it's Ember from the field, and today I'm in one of our greenhouses where we grow tomatoes, and I wanted to show you a technique we use to trellis our tomatoes in here. The technique, we started using it a couple of years ago, but it's called the lower and lean method. And this is great for indeterminate tomato varieties that, if given perfect growing conditions, will just keep growing and growing and growing, which you might know by growing tomatoes in your own gardens. The other greenhouse, we do have a determinate variety, and that just means they stop growing at a certain height. The variety we grow is about 4 feet high, and then it'll set fruit and then be done for the season rather than continuing to grow. But in the cathedral, our larger greenhouse, we have the space to let tomatoes grow tall, but not quite enough space unless we implement this technique, the lower and lean method. So let me just show you some of the parts here. So the first important feature are these spools of twine. So it's hooked up to this like metal, metal frame that can then hook on to this piping that's up above all of the tomato rows, as you can see here. Then we pull, when the tomatoes are small seedlings, we pull the twine all the way down and clip the twine to the base of the plant using tomato clips. And I think I've showed you these in the past. You can see at the hinge here, it can grasp the twine, and then we place the clip around the stem of the tomato plant, and then it just snaps in place. And we do this, we try and come in here once a week to trellis. And so as the tomato gets taller and taller, we continue clipping so that the plant doesn't fall over. And so here, you can kind of see what we've started doing. We're actually leaning the plants over. So these are this is a tomato plant here coming out, and this is a tomato plant here, and we're leaning them over so that they can continue growing up the twine. So the first step is to actually unlock. There's a sort of a locking mechanism on the side to keep it from just pulling down. So we release that, pull, a couple rotations of twine down so that it's hanging lower to the ground, and then we slide the spool over, and it eventually sort of rests against the soil like that. And now the idea is that we're continuing to harvest and continuing to prune all of what's on the lower portion of the plant so that the tomatoes aren't just all resting on the ground, because that wouldn't be good for the fruit or the health of the tomato plant. So this has been amazing, especially for cherry tomato plants. They seem to grow the tallest, the fastest. The slicers in here, we've also done the same thing with, and it's helped tremendously as far as just making sure it has more space to grow, and it's, easier to harvest rather than having to reach up too high. Before, as you can see, before we used this technique, we just had twine tied to the piping up here and then pull down to the bottom base of the plant where we would clip, 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 clip. But then when the tomato plant got to the top of the metal piping, it would just kind of grow up and over down the other side. And, harvesting got messy, the plants would snap. It wasn't great for the health of the tomato plant. So this is a great technique that, that we saw other farms using, and we think it's great. So I hope you learned something new, and I'll see you around. All right, bye.